Hi, welcome back. In our previous lesson, we started with consumer optimization, where we focused on interior solution. Today, we'll be moving on to corner solution. So the previous equilibra that we saw was an interior solution which involved at least some amount of each commodity. This is not always the case. A consumer may find that there are certain goods that, given their income and prices, it isn't worthwhile buying any of these goods. So in this case, a consumer's equilibrium bundle can involve the consumption of zero amount of these goods. This is called a corner solution. A corner solution in this case is when a consumer's equilibrium bundle involves the consumption of zero amount of some goods. So let's look at an example of this. We'll consider a consumer named Fred who consumes two goods, good X and good Y. Now, Fred's indifference map and budget constraint can be represented in this figure here. So we see Fred's indifference map consisting of indifference curve U0, U1, and U2. And this line represents Fred's budget line B1. According to this figure, point E is on the highest indifference curve that can be reached by Fred given his budget constraint. At bundle E, Fred uses all his income to buy good Y and buy zero of good X. Now, how do we know that Fred uses all of his income? He uses all of his income because bundle E is on the budget line B1. And any bundle on the budget line means the consumer has used all of their income. Now we can see that at bundle E, X is 0 and Y is positive. Let's look at some things to note about this corner solution. The first thing to note is that at bundle E, the marginal rate of substitution is not equal to the price ratios. Now, when we were looking at interior solution, we saw that because the budget line and the indifference curve are tangent at the point of equilibrium, at that equilibrium point, the slope of the two curves are equal. Now, we mentioned that this is not always the case, and especially for corner solution. If we do not have an interior solution and we have a corner solution, then that condition does not hold. The slope of the two curves are not equal. Now, the marginal rate of substitution is the slope of the indifference curve, and the price ratio is the slope of the budget line. So what this first point is telling us is at point E, which is a corner solution in this case, the slope of the two curves are not the same. Now, what is one way to see this? We see that the indifference curve is flatter than the budget line. So if you look at this figure, you will see that the indifference curve U1 is flatter than the budget line B1. So the budget line is much steeper than the indifference curve U1. So what this means is that the slope of the indifference curve is smaller than the slope of the budget constraint. So for a corner solution involving zero amount of good X, the condition for the equilibrium is characterized not by an equality. So the equality here is, we are just simply saying that the two slopes are not equal. So this condition does not hold, but it is characterized by an inequality. And in this case, the marginal rate of substitution, which is the slope of the indifference curve, is less than the slope of the budget line. And we see this by the budget line being a bit steeper than the indifference curve. So this is all that we have on our lesson on consumer optimization, focusing on corner solution. Our next lesson, we'll move forward with the same topic, focusing on utility. If you enjoyed today's lesson, consider subscribing. Thank you.